Well, I'm excited to do this with Damon because I know, Damon, you were a national presenter like myself, right?
That's right.
So how many years did you do that?
I think almost. I think it was almost 3 years, maybe around 3 years. So
Oh
yeah,
man,
yeah.
that's awesome. So I wanted to show your crowd some things, but anything you wanted to open up with or say or kind of explain why
No,
we're doing
man,
this?
I am following your lead, man. You are the guy. You are the
All
guy.
right.
I'm the guest, so we'll follow your lead.
Well, first, I'm curious because I'm going to show some stuff today at Logos 10. And so I'm really excited about that because Logos 10 in my mind is kind of like a jump into the next age of Logos, and it's just massively improved in user friendliness and speed. So we're gonna show that today. But what was your favorite feature, Damon? I'm curious. Do you have a favorite feature in Logos?
Yeah, my absolute favorite feature
I'll share my screen while
is
we're talking.
the interactive infographic, and
Oh,
it allows you to be able to look at ancient altars, the armor of God, New Testament coins, priestly garments, the tabernacle. You can look at the essentially I think it is the conceptual world of the Old Testament. So
yeah,
the ancient Hebrew universe,
that's awesome.
Solomon's temple. So as you walk through those things, it gives you pictures so that and scripture to go along with it. So there is the infographic, that's the information piece, and then there's the pictographic elements of it as well. And so these are all things that we read about all the time, but to be able to get a picture of, for instance, you'll read about the priestly garments, the Urim and the Thummim, and the you'll
Yeah,
read about the various stones in the breastplate, and what does that look like, or even the way that the tabernacle was layered, covered in badger skins, and it'll walk you literally right from the door. It gives you the dimensions of it and all of that. It's just a great, like, I find that with teaching, especially with New Testament coins. I used to make this one point about the tribute episode in I think it's Matthew chapter 22,
yeah.
and Lagos has that particular coin on there, and when
Mm.
Jesus says, "Hey, um, whose image is on this coin and what
Ah,
inscription is written," Lagos literally has the coin, and it's of
that's awesome.
Augustus Caesar,
Yeah,
right? And it says worshipful Son of God, Augustus Caesar. So you can see the inscription, and you could see the image on it, and understand how that relates to the question that Jesus asked, how that links back to worship, just
yeah,
not only the image, right? Not having any other image making any graven images, but also inscription, and that's the Shema, that we should take his
awesome.
word and inscribe it on our hearts. So being able to see that visual brings that whole tribute to life, because then it brings to bear what Jesus is really meaning when he says you can't if God is God, then serve him.
Yeah,
But if Caesar is God, serve him, right? So it's not it's like what Elijah was after. It's not a matter of render. There it is. Render to Caesar what
yeah.
Caesar, render to God what's God's. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, just pay the government what you owe them, pay God what you owe them. But that's not
Context.
what Jesus was after. He was saying what Elijah was saying. Uh,
Mm,
serve God.
that's
And
awesome.
you've got to make a choice, right? If you're either serving, so the tribute coin was a way that they showed loyalty, obviously, to the emperor worship. So
Mm,
this is really more not about taxes, but tribute worship. And Jesus is saying you got to pick your loyalties. And the very fact that one of them had the coin was an indictment, because if he's
mm.
truly a worshiper of the one true God, he should not have had the coin anyway. But being able to pull that exact coin up on screen and show them that
Yeah,
again, it's called Interactive Infographics from Faith Life Study Bible. And so if you
that's
just go
awesome.
into the library
Yep,
and type in interactive, you'll be able to just pull that right up. And that is literally all time. That is, there it is right there. That is
yep.
my favorite.
This is your
Uh,
favorite one.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
awesome.
That's
That's so
that's it.
cool. They're the New Testament coins. That's what you're talking about. Nice. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. I think that I'm an assistant pastor at a small church here in Pennsylvania. And so I'm old enough. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I'm going to say like my first real Bible here was this New King James Version Bible that my dad got me when I was 9. And it was very special, but because you can see I had the Snoopy stickers in it and everything. And then having a Bible, the older I got, I started reading it and studying it. And then you quickly realize, just like Damon saying, like there's a lot of things that we don't see on the surface level, right? We don't see the inscriptions on the coins. We don't understand the context. And then as I started studying the Bible more, then, how many of you have, I mean, Damon, you got tons of books behind you, right? And so I've got books, but you see, I got more guitars on the back than I have books. But I've got books in my attic. I got them in my basement. So today, what I'm going to show you in Logos is how the world of digital technology has helped us actually combine not only a digital library, but your physical library as well.
That's right.
And so we're gonna look at that today. So let me dive right in here, and we're gonna kind of walk you through what Logos can do. And I thought, Damon, it'd be kind of fun. I'm going to use a passage in John, and we're going to kind of springboard off that to show how we can look at the context and go a little deeper. So I'm just, first, before I do that, I want to show everybody that and tell you, Logos is a digital Bible study platform. If you've never seen it or heard of it before, we've been around for over 30 years. We now have over 350 employees. We've got about over 200,000 books on our platform now, which is pretty incredible. So when I open up my library here, as you can see, I've got about 6,000 books, 6,449 books in my library. Now, I haven't read them all, obviously, because the point of Logos is that we're going to use the tool and it's going to bring resources to us when we need them. So it's a research assistant, but it's cross-platform, so you can pull it up on your mobile app, the web app, and here I am on my desktop. And I love that. So we're going to look at that today. So, Damon, I'm going to open up a Bible here. And you tell Logos which one's your favorite one. So I've got my ESV open here. And I'm going to John chapter 4.
I'm a CSB guy. So
CSB?
There we go.
I see here. I got that one in the list too. So we'll do that. So we go here though, John chapter 4. And as you're looking through this text, there's going to be a lot of things that we need to uncover, right? We got people happening. We've got Pharisees. We've got places. We've got spiritual topics. So think about how we would do this with paper and how long it would take us and how many books it would take us. And as I said, I was just in California. And so I was working on my sermon on the plane with my entire library. So having your entire library digital is really quite amazing. And so today, though, I'm going to talk about a lot about this tool called the Fact Book. The Fact Book is really, I tell people, the place to start now in Logos. Used to be, Damon, you remember the day where you go up to the go box or the command box, right?
Yeah.
So you can still do that in a lot of ways, but now the Fact Book has really become the place to go. And so let me explain what the Fact Book is. I'm going to click on that and open it up here. What do you do when you come across something in the Bible you don't understand? It used to be I would Google it.
Bible dictionary Google.
Yeah, Bible dictionary if you had that, but if you're out and about and you've just got your phone, you Google it, right?
Google it. Yeah.
Well, the problem, of course, is that Google's not always a great theologian, if you haven't noticed. And then you've also got the issue of trying to track down resources and links that you trust. So I was actually just doing this today. I was like, I wonder how far it is. I tried to Google from Judea to Samaria, and I just got all kinds of crazy answers because we've got this, story here where Jesus left Judea and departed and went to pass through Samaria to the Sychar. So I was like, how far is that? Well, you're going to see how Logos can help us with that. So instead of Googling, you can use the Fact Book, and there's all these great tools. So the Fact Book, the idea behind the Fact Book, why we created this is that you can type in any person, place, thing, topic, anything having to do with the Bible or even church history, and you're going to get some information.
Right. And
so, Damon, if I Google tabernacle, being there in Atlanta, do you know the number 3 hit? Does that sound familiar to you?
The Tabernacle.
Yeah, the number 3 hit's the nightclub in Atlanta.
That's right.
So we could type in anything here. So I thought in the context of studying this passage, what if we did a book of the Bible first? Let's start with some broad contextual stuff here. So I'm going to type in the word John. Now, look at this. We've got a drop-down list of the Gospel of John. We've got a little red ribbon. We've got John, son of Zebedee, third epistle of John. So Logos is giving us some fact book reports that we might be looking for. So if I just click on Gospel of John, I instantly get a fact book report on the Gospel of John. So watch this, though. We of course have our main information up here at the top, so kind of a little short synopsis. But then we've got a key article coming from the Lexham Bible Dictionary. And this Lexham Bible Dictionary is awesome. This is one of my go-to Bible dictionaries. There's a lot of great ones out there, but I love that I get that right away, so I know I trust it. Lexham's the publishing arm of Logos, and they're winning awards now for like books of the year, all kinds of stuff. But if I want to read more here, I just click read more, and that's going to open up into another panel. And so I love this. And one of my favorite things in Logos, Damon, is that I can hover over any verse and get a preview. Because what do you do on a paper book when you see, you're reading Kyle DeLeach and he lists like 65 verses? We don't look it up, right? Because we don't have time. So I love that I can do that. And then while I've got a panel open here, how many of you are writing books or sermons and using Word and maybe Bible studies, and you're thinking, I really want to remember where I found this? Well, you can copy any text in a Logos resource, copy that, and you can come over to your Word document and paste it. And Dave, I bet you use this feature, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then as you scroll down, as you see here, Logos will cite the reference for you at the bottom automatically. I recently showed this at a conference, and I got a lot of amens in a place where I didn't think I'd see amens happening, but it was cool. Oh, yeah. All right, I'll just scroll down here. Watch this, though. We got more stuff coming back here. We got some suggested reading in John. We actually have a whole slide deck here on John. So if you're, they do this for every book of the Bible now. So if you click on that, you've got a whole slide deck on John with a theme.
Oh, that's nice.
You got the context, and you even have a map for context here. So even if you're just teaching a Bible study or a small group, I mean, there's a whole timeline here, which is awesome. An outline, and then a blank slide so that you're able to, take that and make it your own. Save it as a PowerPoint or something. So having that is just, again, right in the fact book. So you watch how much I'm going to do just being in the fact book. As I scroll down here, here's some key passages. I love this too, this events section in the fact book. This is actually giving you an outline of the events that are happening, along with, if you see that, you can even see the parallel scriptures that are happening here too.
Right. Good.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
So it's like all of the events happening are outlined. But then here's what I wanted to kind of point out here. Have you ever used this section yet, Damon, the Bible book guide section?
Absolutely.
So this Bible book guide section, if you're studying a passage in John and you're like, hey, I wonder who this was written to, what's the background of it? Well, typically we go to dictionaries, we go to commentaries for that information, but it takes so long. So now in this section here, on every book of the Bible, you get this section. You just click on it and watch this. This shortcuts to the historical context, the recipients, the location. This is shortcutting to your commentaries.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
And that's essentially what's often missing, even in a lot of teachings or sermons or what have you, is that people will start talking about what they think the text means without any consideration for the historical background. And look, right there, just at the click of a button, all of that is right there.
All that's right there. It's amazing. The outlines, the content. I mean, and you go down through the whole thing. You can get real deep. And then as you scroll down, look at this. You even have dictionaries. You've got journal articles from your library. So the idea here is, of course, the bigger your Logos library, the more information you're going to get back.
Right.
But you see what it's doing is it's actually giving you a definition, but now it's actually doing all the searching for you in one place. And this is on your phone. It's on the mobile app in its entirety. Amazing. Okay, but let's just say we want to do a person. So let's say we'll type in John, and let's learn about John a little bit. So you can do the same thing. Type in John, and as you scroll down, there's a key article. There's a painting. I don't think John looked like that, but okay. So you scroll down, but then you got this referred to as section. This is new as well in the fact book. And what's so incredible about this, you know how you can search a person in Logos, right? So what's happening here is that Logos is actually doing all the searching for you. So it just ran all kinds of Bible searches. So if I wanted to see all the verses where the Greek word for John is being used, you just unfold that right there. And then there's the verses. Maybe you want to go down here and say, click on more, and maybe where he's listed as an elder. And so you can click there, and there you go. So it's amazing that it's searching your Bible at the same time searching your library as well.
That's right.
So there's events that John's a part of. There's other Bible dictionaries that I have in my library. You know, so incredible. Now, what I love about this tool here is, if you notice over here in your Bible, right on the toolbar here, these are all tools that you can use. Okay, so you got your interlinear here, turn that on and off. You know,
right.
But if you click on the fact book, it'll actually underline words that are linked to fact book reports. So what I used to skip over, I don't skip over anymore, because I know if I'm reading here and I want to see Galilee and learn about it,
there we go.
Click on it, and boom, there's a whole fact book report on Galilee.
Right.
And I did that even with Jacob's well. Is that what I preached on this passage?
Right.
And it tells you, I mean, it's like 128 feet deep at one point.
Right.
So I love that. And then you even have maps that show up here too. You know, you'll notice in the media section, there's a whole atlas tool built right in. So I can turn this on here. Let me bring it over here. I got 2 monitors going here, and check that out. You've got a whole map that you can interact with of Jesus's journey, Jesus and the Samaritan woman. And then I said, earlier today, I was like, how far is it? Google couldn't tell me. I got like 16 different answers, but here I can interact with the map, and look at that, 30 miles.
Yeah, this tool is so powerful. Typically, when we're reading a passage, this allows you to be able to read and study at the same time in almost a seamless way. So, for instance, the first thing for me in studying is obviously reading and rereading the passage. But then before I start doing anything, I like to ask the text questions, right? So a good question here might be, since Jesus was obviously from Galilee, how far is Galilee from, Samaria? And of course, one of the things he said is that
he was tired.
Right. I need to go through Samaria. And we know, of course, that they would often walk around. So it kind of gives you a better idea of how intentional Jesus was to actually go into Samaria, as opposed to just, walk around. Like he wanted to literally go there. So it gives you a lot of it gives you a lot of answers to the questions that you would be asking the text. Even background information on Samaria. At some point, it's going to get into the conflict between Jews and Samaritans, and that's going to come up, right? Somewhere there's going to be a link somewhere in the article and in the information to where you'll be able to find that. So you can be learning in the moment of reading without literally going anywhere. You're right. You're right here in your environment, in your learning environment. So you're not going to another website, or you're not. It's all right here in front of you.
So fast. I mean, I was so thankful for Logos the other day when I came across the phrase "the cows of Bashan," and I didn't know what "you cows of Bashan" meant. But it's like it's so amazing that you just click a button and there you go. But watch this. This is pretty incredible too, because we can even study this section of Scripture using the fact book. So now I'm just going to type in our passage here, and I'm going to say John 4:1-26. But before I do that here, I want you to look at something. You see these systematic theology reports? These are showing up because they've been tagged in this passage of Scripture.
Right.
So not only are we able to dive into the context of this, but we're actually able to dive into the doctrinal, areas of this Scripture. So if I wanted to look at God's spirituality, which is obviously a big theme here, or the church's mission, I could just click on one of them, and now I've got a whole systematic theology report that goes out and looks for scriptures and systematic theologies. It's amazing. But let me do.
It's like the wider the pericope, which is essentially the unit of
Yeah.
scripture. The larger the search, the more information you're actually getting. So I guess if you had said John 4, 1 through 4, you'll get some information.
Yeah.
But you'll get even more if you go wider, say, again, 1 through 20 or 1 through 26. And then it's able to pull in even more information based on the broadness of the text.
Well, because what the fact book's doing is really giving us the bigger, broad context of things. So here, okay, this is a pericope of a fact book report, the section, the Samaritan woman at Jacob's well. But as I scroll down, I'm gonna keep going down here. We've seen a lot of this stuff here, but I'm gonna go down because each one of these fact book reports has what's called the dig deeper section. And the dig deeper section is new, even in Logos 10. It's only a few months old here, because what they did, how a lot of times in Logos, I mean, there's so many tools that you could use. You're not sure which one to go to. Well, here we have layouts that are suggested for you. So if you just want a Bible and commentary, you just click on that and it pops a Bible and your favorite commentary already linked. You want a passage study layout, you just click on that. There's a passage study layout. You go down here to a guide, sermon starter guides, passage guide. So if I just do a passage guide here and I click on this, here's where now we're going to go a lot deeper. And here's where you really, really start to save time when it comes into your, into your studies and creating sermons. So I want to talk about this for a second, but because I find that fact book is amazing for quick contextual stuff. But when you want to go deeper, then you go to the passage guide, right?
Yeah.
So let's see here. I'm here at I have this passage guide open. Now, each passage guide has a commentary section. So you have little guide sections, if you will, that are already put together here. So as you scroll down, there's all these sections to take you deeper, right? It's to guide you through the passage. And you can actually customize this your own. If some of you have this already in Logos, you can come up here, click on these three dots, and you can say edit this guide, and you can go in and you can drag things around and reorganize and put different things in that you want, because you might not need everything that's in here. But check this out. This has saved me literally 100 hours worth of time, because it took every commentary in my library and opened them up to these passages here.
The passage, yeah.
Okay. So if I'm and I can hover over that. So get a little preview.
Pillar, New American.
Yeah. Yeah. And so if you want to learn more, just read it, just click on it, and there you go. Opens right up. And then as you scroll down, here's cross references coming from the treasury of scripture knowledge. Okay. So, obviously we got a lot of them because we have a lot of verses selected here.
Right.
Important words to look at. This section here actually takes you out, and what it does is they wrote an algorithm, so it would go out and look at every commentary in Logos talking about this, and it comes back and tells you these are the words that you should look at in this order. These are like what everybody's talking about the most. So it's quite incredible. And then again, people, so you understand the context, and guess what? All linking back to the fact book. Okay, thematic outlines. I want to show this one though, because this is one of my favorite ones.
Oh yeah.
Important passages. You like this one, Damon?
Oh yeah, I love this.
Why do you like this one? I'm just curious.
Oh, I when I first became a Christian, the first Bible that I had was called a Thompson Chain Reference Bible. And all it could do, it didn't have any study notes in it, but it had little indicators which essentially allowed you to follow a chain to another related passage.
Yeah.
And so so then you would go to the next one, and then that would connect you to the next one. But here, this connects all of them, and it essentially even shows you why that verse is related to the text that you're reading. Yeah, so it does all that for you. Absolutely.
So for those of you who don't know, a little power tip here: anything blue in Logos links to something, right? So whether I click on a verse, it'll open a book, but if I click here, that's a drop down. So what Damon's saying is how this tool is basically, it's another way of cross-referencing, but it's giving you a reason why it's cross-referenced, right? It's connecting those things together. So if we wanted to come down here and we see one that says like shared figurative language, and we want to see if there's any others in here that have shared figurative language, just click on that, come down here, click shared figurative language, and then boom, there's all the scriptures that have the same shared figurative language in the Bible. So that passage guide incredible. I mean, I love the passage guide. Um, click the two arrows on the top right corner to zoom in. So yeah, I saw your notes here. If you are watching on a phone, sometimes if you're on a phone, it's gonna be really small. But if you want to go back, we will have a recording posted, so you can do that. So no problem at all there. All right, so now I'm just curious. I'm gonna go over here though. I'm gonna scroll down here to verse 24. Okay, because let's go down here. We're gonna look at this a little bit. One of the most amazing things that I find in Logos is a lot of people they want to search a word, right? So they'll search words in the search tool. So I want to show the search tool a little bit. If I click on the search tool, you open that up, and we can search our books, and we can search the Bible and a whole bunch of other stuff. But I'm gonna focus on the Bible here for a second. If I'm here, and before I had Logos, I used to go on a free Bible app online, and I would search the word worship because I'm like, I got to find all the places the word worship happens. So if you do that in Logos, you type worship in, hit enter. There's all the places where the word worship is happening, right?
Right.
But what if we want to dive into the actual Greek word worship? You know, what's that mean? So in Logos, I'll show you how easy this is. Now, we could do it a couple different ways, but I'm going to show you how easy it is right from your Bible. Just highlight the word, and this little box pops up, and then click study or click search. I'll do study next, but click search. And what that does is actually search the Greek lemma, the dictionary form of the word. So now you're getting things like, words like knelt, imploring, kneeling, fell. These are the same Greek word. It's the same lemma that's being used. Right. So it's giving us much better context, isn't it?
That's right.
Okay. But now let's say we want to actually study it a little bit more. So if we want to do that, I can just go over here and I'll close this panel here, come over here, and I'll do the same thing. I'll highlight the word, and I'm going to click study. That launches a Bible word study guide, right? Mm-hmm. Because now we've got all of my dictionaries and lexicons are right here.
BDAG, there you go.
Okay, so we got BDAG, so I can dive in. Again, it's a link, so just click on it. There, it opens it up for you in a nice outline format. I love that. Okay, you can even have it pronounce a word. So proskuneo. You're not going to speak on God's agape love anymore, in your sermons. But look, I've got all of these dictionaries and lexicons in here I can turn to. But then you come down here to this translation wheel. And what this is doing is basically taking that same search that you just saw me do, but it's giving you a visual representation now of all of the different places that this word is being translated in the ESV, in my particular version. Now, you can change this. So let's say I wanted to come up here and I'm like, I want to see in the CSB what that looks like. Well, then it'll actually go through and it gives you the wheel in the CSB. So this Greek word is being translated here as knelt here. So you click on that and it'll actually give you the scripture right there. See that? Click on this and it'll give you the definition and the word that's being used. Click in the middle and it'll actually show you all of them as you go down through there, all the different ways. And so we find, of course, that this word worship really means to bow down, doesn't it?
Right.
It doesn't mean go to a Phil Wickham concert. It means bow down. So I love being able to use this on this tool. Anything you want to say about that or Bible word studies, Damon, that you've come across?
Oh, man. Yeah, no, I love it. Sometimes you want to know things like, well, again, how many times does that word appear in the New Testament? And it'll give you that number, like it said 59 times. And then if it's used in a certain way, like bow, it'll say maybe 10 out of the 59 times that the word worship is used in the New Testament, 10 of those times it simply means to bow. Let's say maybe 15 of those times it could mean to kneel. So it's like a pie chart. When you click on it, it will pull that out and it will show you how many times it's used and in which verses it means this. It has this specific nuance to it. So it just gives you every possible way to look at that word and learn everything that you can about it.
So then what I want to do now, though, is watch this. We're gonna do a quick search because Logos 10. A lot of people don't know this, but Logos 10 has a whole new search query language. It's so much easier. There's even a little. I mean, we have. If you click on these three dots here, we've got search templates. But watch how easy this is. Let's say I wanted to find. I'll go off context here a minute. But let's say type in Bethlehem. Okay. If you just hit return, you get the word for Bethlehem, right? Okay. But look at this. If you let Logos sit a second, and I click on Bethlehem of Judah, that actually searches the place.
That's right.
And it's not searching the Hebrew or the Greek. So here we go. Ephrath right there. So we're able to see that this is mentioned all the way back in Genesis. That's the same place, you know?
Right.
So I found that really cool. So you could do that with anything, any topic. If you did money, you know, you could search it that way. So pay attention to that. But let's go over here to books for a second, because we got a lot of books here, and Damon's got more than I do. But I'm going to click on books, and let's say that we wanted to find any place that's talking about this verse. So I'm going to type in John 4:24, and I'm going to click here, and there's our search. Now, notice though, if I click on library, downloaded books, these are your books and logos. Okay, you can sort it by the book, the author, the type. And so obviously with 5,915 results in 1,400 resources, it's a little crazy, right?
Right, yeah.
So what you can do is you can create collections, or Logos even out of the box kind of creates some sub collections. So you click here on all books, and then you go down here, and as I scroll down, see these book types? Mm-hmm. So I can even drill down into my journals, and then there's my journals.
Now, all the journals that mention something about John 4:24.
Exactly. Wow. So now if you click on one of these, then you're able to just click on that, and there it is. You're right into that article about Demelios right there. See how fast that is?
And you know what's excellent about that is that, you know, you have all these resources to where you'll be able to look at Bible dictionaries, commentaries. But when you go to journals, you'll be able to read what New Testament theologians have said about that passage in an article. So you get that scholarly perspective as well, just by literally looking in your library at which journal said something about John 4:24. And it could be Craig Blomberg or you know, Donald Fee, any New Testament theologian. But it's an incredible perspective out there from people who have spent their entire lives studying, and right there at your fingertips, just by looking at the journal article, you can learn things that they have seen that you may never even think about, because again, they're New Testament theologians. So so that's a great resource.
And then Logos 10 took it to a whole new level. So have you utilized the print library feature yet, Damon? I know you got a lot of physical books, but have you seen that yet?
I have not, man. You got to show it to me.
All right. So we're gonna go next level here. Okay. So I have a book. Okay. This is a book on apologetics. I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. You've heard of apologetics, right, Damon?
Oh yeah. There we go.
All right. So you can take the Logos mobile app and you can scan the ISBN code, or you can look it up by name, or you can type in the ISBN number manually. And what it does is it's going to add it to a section in your Logos library called the print library. Okay. Wow. So now let's say I search for the word truth.
Okay.
I'm going to search all my books for the word truth in my library here. And you see downloaded books. Again, this is all of my Logos books. Okay. I'm going to have thousands. Obviously, I'm searching one word. But by the way, little side note, you see how fast that went?
Yeah.
One word, and I got 580,000 results. So Logos 10 is extremely fast. Used to be you could go like wash the car and, you know, mow the lawn and come back and it might be halfway done searching, but not like that anymore. But I'm going to collapse that, and you see this here, the print library section. What this is doing, I don't own this book in Logos. Okay, so if I click on it here, see this? I can go out and buy it if I want. Okay, but you notice this? Page numbers.
Oh, wow.
See that?
Yeah.
So all those books behind you, as long as they're on the Logos platform, and this is a gold level feature, you got to have the full feature set with gold. Okay. Your print books are now searchable. I mean, you You could even search. I've only got one in here, so I don't know if there's John 4:24, but let's see what happens here. I'm just curious. There's one hit right there where he mentions John 4 in that book. So I can literally go to page 263 in my book here, and I can find where he's referencing John 4 right there.
All right. Well, let me let's see. Let me see if I could. Let's see if I can test that out. So,
okay,
there's a book by Steve Lawson called Pillars of Grace.
Okay, so I'm going to do it this way because I don't have that one. So watch this. We'll test it out. It's got to be in the Logos ecosystem, though. So I don't know. I know Steve Lawson. I don't know if we got it transferred from his fountain pen to Logos, but we'll see here. Okay, Pillars of Grace. Let's see if that's in here. Steve Lawson, Pillars of Grace. Is that it right there?
Okay.
Okay, right. I'm going to click Add the Print Library.
Wow. Okay,
now I want you to do something for me. Open up a page. Do you got it right there?
I got it right here.
Okay. Sometimes it takes a minute for it to. Let's see here. Go to my library here. In print library. Okay, so let's try this. Steve Lawson is awesome, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I've had the privilege of sitting in on one of his preaching master classes.
Nice.
Okay, so open up to like one of the pages and just give me a short phrase. We'll search a phrase.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, let me. Apologia. Apologia.
Page 76. One time.
Well, this, you know what? That may be a different edition.
True, it could be a different edition. That does happen, but that's the point. Is that and then you also see like
that's it.
Watch this. Show you how crazy this can be. Let's just say truth near the word Bible. I'm just curious. There, look at that. So there's all the hits.
Anywhere where the word truth is close to the word Bible.
Yep. So as you're researching, this is like an insanely amazing tool, even for books you don't have in Logos. So
wow.
That is in Logos 10. It is like the mic drop feature that everybody's talking about. Is that print library search? All right. So I thought too, Damon, it'd be fun to show some interactives real quick. Is that all right? Well,
oh yes.
So we showed one of them already, the one that Damon liked. So I'm gonna talk about a couple quick ones here because we've been showing you all this stuff, amazing things, how you can research the Bible, get all of this stuff, understand the context. But sometimes it's nice to have a visual representation, just like we did with the infographics. But here you'll see this one is called the Psalms Explorer. And we literally have dozens of these kinds of tools in Logos here to help us. But I'm going to show you the practical reason for this. And it isn't just, as I like to say, eye candy. But, we've got every psalm is represented by a dot, of course. But you can see it's sorted by the genre. But we can sort by the structure. We can sort by the author, by the book. But here's how I love to use this tool, because I'm actually preaching on a psalm right now. And over here on this column, here's where the practical application lies. Maybe your worship life is dry, or maybe you're preaching on certain topics in the Psalms and you want to drive down a little deeper into those. Look at this. We've got all the themes tagged. Okay. So here I could say maybe John 4:24. We're going to dive into worship. Click on worship. And that'll resort everything for us. Okay. Maybe I want to look at God's faithfulness. Okay. And then let's say we'll say God's love. So now we got 23 Psalms here, and I can put them right in order, and I can just click on one. And now I've got my parallelism, my structure. Maybe I'm going to go another step further here, because I enjoy this. I've kind of been getting into the chiastic Psalms. Just click on chiasm, click on that. And now we can actually see the chiastic structure of the Psalm as well.
Right.
That's giving us, section A goes down to section A down here at the bottom, right? Section B goes to, it's just mirroring, and it's working towards the main point. And I'm using this tool to actually go through the book of Psalms. I created a highlighter in Logos called chiastic centers, and I'm just going to highlight in every Psalm where the middle of the chiasm is. So I could just click that on in a second. So I love this tool for that, that we can turn that parallelism on and off. We can turn the structure on and off. It really gives you some insight into the Psalm. And that's been super helpful. Another one that I thought is a lot of fun is this one.
Oh, yeah.
So, Damon, I know it's like you and I, we don't know how much 5,000 shekels of silver weighs, right?
Right.
Top of our head, right? What do you use this for? Do you use this for anything in particular?
Yeah, my favorite, one of my favorite passages to use that for instance, the parable of the talents.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people would think of a talent in a different way, but this is going to tell you what it actually is, whether it's a weight, whether it's a measure, whether it's a volume. And so this is really interesting.
So if you do one talent, like what's the big deal about somebody burying one talent in the backyard? And it weighed 66 pounds. So we get that. But if it was in gold, it was worth $1.2 million.
Right.
Right. So if it was silver, it's $15,000. So we're not talking,
about currency.
Yeah, exactly. And so here we can go over here, though. Let's say Noah's Ark. I like to use this one for the kids.
Yeah.
Because then you get a big visual of just how big that is. So this one's a lot of fun to do because it's like 12 city buses long, 7 semi trucks.
That's right.
And then I did this one the other day. I was reading on David and Goliath. 5,000 shekels. I think it was his coat of mail was 127 pounds.
Jeez.
His shirt weighed 127 pounds. So having this kind of a tool in your back pocket, on your laptop is just incredible.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to gloss over that. I really think that I often say this, that when we gloss over the numbers in the Bible, we're really missing out on the glory of God and what he was really doing in a lot of situations.
But this tool really gives some insight to the kind of the socioeconomic culture of people in biblical period. So for instance, you could see how a lot of these are weights, and that doesn't mean anything to us because things don't increase in value for us by weight. But in the ancient world, it did. So if something was heavier, if it was gold and it weighed a certain amount, it was worth more. If it was silver and it weighed a certain amount, it weighed more. So you could see really a lot of the wisdom admonitions and wisdom literature against false weights. So if people wanted to drive the price up, they would put something weighted in the bag to make it cost more. But that was really being deceitful, right? It was a deceitful practice. But that gives you an idea, a better picture of why weights are really important to people in the biblical period.
I was just curious. Weights and measures in the fact book. I was just curious what it brought up. Look at that. So cool.
Wow. Incredible.
I just had to look it up. That's awesome. All right. Bible Books Explorer. This is another one I wanted to show. I love this tool. Personally, I think that it gives you some real insight when you're studying a book of the Bible. First off, I'll point out up here, this interactive here. So over here, I'm going to click on books, and this gives you an overview of every book of the Bible that's happening. Okay. And you can come down here on this side, just like in a lot of the other tools that you have, you got little filters here. So you want just the Protestant books, you can filter down to that, but you can see, some of the other corpuses and the canons. But here I can click on, you just click on one of these books and you get an overview.
Wow.
And then it's linking to fact book reports. So it's telling you key people that are in this book, giving you some stats, giving you composition dates, how many words and lemmas, that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So that, and these colors, these actually are telling you something. This has Robert Longacre's genre narratives up here. So you can see how much is narrative, how much is procedural and behavioral, so on and so forth. So when you hover over a color, it's actually gonna give you that information. So I
Wow.
can see how much is how to do it in numbers and what things are or were like, expository. But when you come over here, you've got these things up here at the top. So I can click on timeline. So there's a timeline of the book, and you can pick based on some of these commentaries here. Everybody's got a different opinion, so you can kind of get an idea when the book might have been written. But this intertext feature, this is amazing because we could search this in Logos. There's all kinds of different ways we could do this, but you remember back in the day, Damon, searching in Logos for something like this would have been like this long, right? So now we can look at every book of the Bible and we can see how something is either being cited in the New Testament to the Old Testament, okay,
or quotation,
quoted or alluded to, or it's being echoed. So what we can do is say, if you're looking at Hebrews and you say, I want to see all the places in the Old Testament that are being quoted in the book of Hebrews, just hover over that now, put on quotation, hover over that, and simply click. And then there are all of the verses that are being quoted in Hebrews from the Old Testament.
So use of the Old Testament in the New Testament. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So we have this ability. Where to go? Oh, there we go. And then you could say echoing. So maybe we're in the book of John and like hover over John, and let's see all the places that are echoing the Old Testament in the book of John. And so there we go. There's all the places that are echoing in the Old Testament. But what's so cool is it works the other way too. So if I say quotation and I'm in the Old Testament and I'm like, I'm just curious, all the places that Psalms are quoted in the New Testament, you can hover over Psalms, click on that, and then now you've got your search of 42 verses. There's 42 Psalms that are quoted in the New Testament. Is that not so cool?
That's incredible. Incredible.
Well, Damon, that's kind of where I wanted to show everybody today, the power of Logos and digital technology. But I wanted to kind of finish up with showing you guys we're excited. I was telling Damon, that for everybody that's part of this webinar, pretty insane. You got 25% off, whether you're upgrading or you're buying brand new. So tell your folks about it. Tell your friends. This is a great Valentine's Day gift, by the way. Right?
Absolutely.
Because you can share it with your spouse. The Bible says you're one. We're not going to mess with that. So 25% off. So for those of you who don't know how Logos works, if you're seeing it for the first time, let me kind of walk you through a couple libraries real quick. And I'll show you where to go because we've got a website and a special coupon code for you. But we have different libraries that you can start out with. And if you've already got Logos, you can upgrade to another one. So they're named like silver, gold, platinum, so on and so forth. We've got some below and we've got some beyond. I thought tonight we'll look at the silver one. And the silver one, that's not the price, so don't worry. If you were to go out and buy all the books that are in the library, like physically, you would spend over $13,000 because this library has got about 280 resources and books. The special event is about $250 off. Normally, it's about $1,000 for this library. And this will have all the tools with the exception of the print library that I was showing you. You can get that for $53 monthly if you want to do it monthly instead. And once you pay it off, it's yours for 16 months. The gold is our bestseller. This has all the tools that we showed tonight. It's got about 650 books and resources. It's our regular price. That's the special event. But you can actually do this. If you reach out to me, I'll give you my email in a second. You can do this for 24 months at $56. So it's actually only like $3 more a month for a few months longer. But then I'm going to say diamond. There's platinum in between gold and diamond. But diamond is, we call this the pastor's library because this is like the dream library, right? This is going to have the 1,500 journals and magazines that are in there. So there's over 3,000 books and resources here with a print book value of $42,000. And 3,000 books is a lot, and you're going to get a lot of insight. So the regular price, about $3,500. Special event, just a little over $2,500 if you want to do just one time. But monthly, it's about $114 a month for 24 months. You can download Logos to all of your devices forever. It's yours. So iPad, we didn't even get into the mobile app, but the new mobile app with Logos 10 is incredible. We should do a whole webinar on that. It's pretty insane. But we got a lifetime license. It's yours. You can share it with your spouse, like I said. And we do have training online, tons of training videos. So we're not going to leave you high and dry there. So here's where you want to go. Logos.com/Richardson. You're going to use this coupon code.
Take a picture of that. If get your phone out, take a picture of this.
Take a picture.
There you go.
We'll have Damon share this too. But there's my email. This expires on February 20th. So we got about a week for this. Okay. But watch this. Here's what it looks like when you come up here. Okay. You're going to see this cart right here, where you can look at some of the ones. Now you can go look and you can use the coupon code on any of the packages. If you come up here and you want to look at other libraries, view and compare all packages, you can do that. But if you want to throw it in the cart, you'll notice here, like the gold library, here's the platinum. You click on add the cart, and that'll throw that right in the cart for you. And it'll put the coupon code right there for you so you can see your discount. And then come over here and you can set your payment plan. Again, if you want to reach out to 24 months, reach out to me. But this is how you can check out and do it on your own that way.
Go.
But that's your website. So right there, man. Anything else?
Yeah, I want to thank you for spending the time to cover all of these incredible features and tools, resources. Because that's what this is. It brings together a number of things. So the resources obviously would be the books, but the tools, all of the ways that you can utilize information and harness information inside of the library. So like you said, it's like not only having a library, but also a research assistant.
Yeah.
At the same time. So one of the number one questions that I get often is about books. What books would you recommend? What books would you recommend? And in this way, getting Logos, it's not necessarily always about which particular resource, because on Logos, you're going to get a number of resources in that particular field. So if somebody says, hey, I want a good book on apologetics, it's probably going to be about 50 books on apologetics inside of Logos.
Yeah.
Systematic theology. It's not always about which one you get. There are quite a number of good ones inside of Logos. You're going to have all of those kinds of resources, commentary, but you're going to have literally dozens of Bible dictionaries, biblical encyclopedias. You're going to have journals. You're going to have all the different types of resources you need.
And just click on learn more here as Damon's talking. I'm going to do this because if you want to learn what's in the library, just click on one of these options where it says learn more, and it'll take you to kind of like the main landing page, and it's going to give you, and it works like a ladder too, right, Damon? So like diamond will have all of the platinum, the gold, the silver. Gold will have all of silver. But if you scroll all the way down here, you're going to see some of the big ones, but then you can actually see all of the different commentaries. So this particular library's got 689 commentary volumes, 43 Bible dictionaries and encyclopedias. So as you're looking at that, feel free to kind of poke around there, and you can see all of the books. And if you're signed into your account, if you already have Logos, this will tell you what you own already and don't own. So you can kind of check it out.
Excellent.
Awesome, man. Well, this is fun. We'll do it again sometime, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for creating this opportunity, this platform. I think for the average person wanting to study the Bible, this just changes the game. It's so easy to use. There's so much information right at their fingertips, and I think this is going to really encourage a lot of people to want to study, because now they'd have not only the access to the information, but they'd have the ability to harness that information and pull on it literally just at the click of a button. Thousands of resources coming up, all looking at the very thing that they have commanded Logos to do. So this is an incredible tool. I use it everywhere. This is just my go-to. And gone are the days that I had to stuff books in the bag just to have something to be able to read or study on the road. I can literally have my entire library. So I literally have, of all the print books that I literally have probably 3 times the amount, 4 maybe even times the amount of resources inside of Logos than I have printed, and
Yeah.
and it all goes with me, whether it's on my phone, whether it's on my laptop, it goes with me everywhere. So yeah,
Awesome,
it's
man.
an incredible tool. So thanks
Well,
so
we'll
much.
sign out. I saw if there is some questions you guys had I didn't get to, because I know I sometimes when it's just me I don't get a chance. I saw Damon answered some of the questions, but reach out to me. You got my email here, and then you can I could tell you where you're at and what you got. I do see one question I'll answer, and then I'll sign off here, where it says, how do you tell what version you have? If you click on the three dots when you're in Logos, and you come down to these three dots right here, click on, I think it's here where it says about Logos, and you're going to get a little, you'll get a little thing here where it'll pop up. But the problem with this is it might not show you exactly what your package is. So just reach out to me, because you might have had Logos for 20 years and you've got all kinds of different ones. So, but I'll sign off, and we'll do it again sometime, right?
Absolutely. Thanks so
All
much.
right. God bless everybody.
Blessings to you.